The brave men and women who have served our country faithfully often need our help to successfully transition back into civilian life. Brave Radio is here to highlight veterans and the companies who are making a difference in our veteran community. And now, the host of Brave Radio, Eve Nasby.
Welcome to Brave Radio, in partnership with Military Mondays, where we're focused on engaging our veterans and making a difference in our business community. I'm your host, Eve Nasby, here to highlight the best and brightest that San Diego and this nation have to offer. We have a great show planned today, so let's get started. Barbara McNally is an amazing woman that every single one of you listeners needs to meet. The book that we're going to talk about today is one of a couple that she's written. This one is called Wounded Warrior, Wounded Wife. Barbara McNally, welcome to Brave Radio.
Well, thank you for having me, Eve. This is really exciting.
It is really exciting. And we just met. You're going to be on another television program this week on Cox Channel 4 talking about the same subject. And so it's really a great opportunity to highlight you and all you're doing. Before we jump into the book, can you tell our listeners your story? How did you become such a well-published author?
Well, I'm a licensed physical therapist, so I've worked with disabled vets and the civilian life for over 30 years. So I've seen them recover, but I've also worked with the wives, and they're an integral part of the recovery for the wounded warrior. So 8 years ago, I started a support group for the wives of wounded warriors at the Hotel Del.
Oh, I love the Hotel Del.
Yes,
what
so
a great place.
They get to come and not only get a spa treatment, but also find the resources and tools they need to help themselves recover and their husbands recover.
Wow. But writing a book, that's not easy. You just don't wake up one day and say, I think I'll write a book, and then get to the point where you've got, and I've got it in my hands. Sorry, readers, you can't get one until October. But this book, I mean, come on, 181 pages. How does this happen? How did you always want to be an author? Is this a passion of yours?
Well, I wrote a book over 8 years ago called Unbridled, and it was my story. And since working with these women, many of them I've helped write their own story, and over the years they've told me their stories. So I wanted now to focus on other people besides myself. So write about other heroic women that have inspired me, and how particularly the impetus to write the book is I was crossing the Coronado Bridge, and I did see a man jump to his death.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I found out that he was a wounded warrior. And here I've worked with wounded warriors and their wives, but that was like the turning point for me, that I realized that, yes, we need to bring a little more public awareness to the devastation that some of these, and the low points that some of our wounded warriors get to. And since I work with the wives, the book is a helpful guide for wives to notice suicidal ideation and to help their husbands get the resources they need, because the women are behind, there are silent heroes, and they're keeping care of our wounded warriors.
And you don't know what you don't know. And so a woman who says, gosh, my husband's kind of acting odd, but there's no real red flags. It's just odd, right? And so what are some of those things that you know of after the research of your book that our listeners maybe should be cued into? If you're communicating with somebody that's kind of acting a little bit differently now, what are some of those things that we should be looking out for?
Well, actually, any threat should be taken seriously. And just last week, I had a spa day in LA, and one of the women who came really didn't know what resource to go to for her husband and herself. And she said her husband's threatened suicide, but she wanted to get involved in some of these resources that you talk about on your show, but she couldn't figure out online how to do it. So the good thing about Spa Day is they come in person, and I have these resources there. There's always a counselor there to help them sign up for a program. So one of the counselor programs is Operation Family Caregiver, and that's run by Rosalind Carter Institute. So we always have a representative from there to help these women with whatever challenge it is. And the book actually is positive because the book is inspirational. It's about women that cross that bridge and they find the resources and the tools to get to the other side.
Yeah, that's so important. Thank you so much. You're listening to Brave Radio here on KCBQ AM 1170, streaming live on the web at am1170theanswer.com. I'm here in studio with the one and only Barbara McNally, author of Wounded Warrior, Wounded Wife. So is this just a book for wives of the wounded warriors? Or are there really universal themes that you hope mainstream readers will take away from the book?
Well, we all love stories about heroes, right?
We do.
And we're all on our own hero's journey. So crossing the bridge, we either find those resources, we jump off, or we get somebody to help us and the tools to get to the other side. So since we're all on our hero's journey, I find these stories really inspirational for me personally. The challenges these women have overcome and their courage, their perseverance inspires me on a daily basis.
All right, so tell our listeners, give us an example. Tell us a story.
Well, because the Invictus Games are going on, well, they just ended.
Right.
One of my stories, the Invictus Games, was their happy ending because the wife was a physical therapist working with her wounded warrior who she met while she was his physical therapist. Yes.
How sweet.
Yes. And he did have a point where he was suicidal, but she was able to find resources to help him find meaning and a new purpose in life, to kind of rediscover who he was and find that bonding with other men again. And it was through the Invictus Games.
Oh, my goodness.
So they were at the Invictus Games this May, which was held in Orlando. And next year, I hope to go. Next year, it'll be in Toronto, Canada.
Oh, how fun.
But the book has things like that, inspirational resources these women found either outside of themselves, like the Invictus Games, or within themselves, just resilience in being able to help themselves and their wounded warrior rediscover themselves and find meaning.
And you know what, Barbara? We are the heroes of our own story, right? But we also need those examples of hope. That if this person did it, then I can do it. And if this person faced those challenges and I can watch their path of how they overcame those challenges, then surely I can do that. And then you also open up the whole world of there's resources out there. I don't have to do this alone.
Right.
I don't have to walk this path alone. There's other women out there and we all like to gather. I mean, we can't even go to the bathroom alone, right? So we have to go, we need to stick together. But in those situations where we've got loved ones who are struggling with mental illness, it's really easy to kind of go into our own cocoon and hide. And what you're doing here is you're breaking that down. You're saying, no, there's no reason for you to do that. Here are some inspirational stories about women who have been where you are and have come out the other side victorious.
Exactly, because not every woman can make it to Spa Day. It's a biannual event, and I do have women from all over the United States, but some women can't come. So I think by reading the book, they can be inspired by other women and how they've overcome challenges. And in the back of the book, there are resources. I do think the best is to be able to come in person to Spa Day and get a massage because and just relax and have lunch because these women find that, like you say, you know, men golf maybe to bond, but Spa Day is a great way for women to bond. And they find out they're not alone going through this. And just relating to other women with the same challenges really strengthens them.
Wow. We're going to go into a break, but we're going to come back and we're going to talk more about your book, Wounded Warrior, Wounded Wife. You're listening to Brave Radio, where we're focused on matching veteran talent with innovative companies that make a difference in our community and in our nation. Follow us on Twitter at Brave Jobs or like us on Facebook to stay up to date with the latest news and trends. I'm your host, Eve Nasby, and we will be right back after this short break to continue our conversation with Barbara McNally. Tired of your employees being late?
There was so much traffic.
Tired of poor excuses and poor presentations?
My kid ate my homework.
Tired of employees just not being able to handle the pressure?
You mean I gotta work a full 8 hours today?
Skip the hassles and excuses and hire individuals that are trained in leadership, confident in their abilities, adaptable to change, and focused on teamwork. Hire a veteran. More than just a patriotic gesture, hiring a veteran of the United States military comes with a host of benefits and tax credits and can provide your company with valuable leadership, organization, and accountability. Allow the Brave to help your progressive business connect with qualified veteran candidates today and find out more by visiting thebrave.us. That's THEBRAVE.us.
Easter Seals Work First Military and Veteran Services provides free one-on-one personalized employment assistance for local veterans through their Bob Hope Veteran Support Program. Easter Seals' team of employment specialists is dedicated to achieving successful, long-term job placements that benefit both the veteran and the employer. Learn more about how you can receive services, connect with a future employee, or make a donation by visiting easterseals.com/SouthernCal. That's easterseals.com/SouthernCal.
Hey, boss.
Yeah.
I need to hire someone. Our workload's increased and man, I could use some help.
What are you looking for?
I need someone unlike Ben, who doesn't freak out, when the copier breaks and the phones are down and the receptionist calls in sick.
What do you need?
Leadership. I need a leader who can just get it done with little direction and ahead of time would be great. With the prima donnas floating around our department like Sally and Jason, it's a challenge, man, to get things done. I need a team player, trained in leadership, confident in their abilities, and adaptable to change.
There's only one place you're going to find talent like that.
Show me where.
Our United States veterans. Call Eve right now at 619-244-3000 or log on to thebrave.us and let's hire a veteran. It's good for business. It's good for America.
Brave is a part of America's largest service-disabled veteran-owned business, Amerit Consulting. We are dedicated to placing great companies with great veterans. Call today. Welcome back. You're listening to Brave Radio in conjunction with Military Mondays, where we focus on matching veteran talent with innovative companies that make a difference in our community and in our nation. As promised, we're back in studio with Barbara McNally, author of Wounded Warrior, Wounded Wife. Welcome back.
Thank you.
So we were talking about Spa Day, and so this is a way for you to woo women who might have questions, issues, challenges. Maybe their husbands are threatening suicide and they have no answers and there is no peace. And you offer this as like an oasis in the midst of that storm. So talk a little bit more about that Spa Day and how can we find out about Spa Day?
Well, I hear from many of the women that come that when their husbands come home and they're going through the recovery process, there's, golf, there's biking, there's fishing. There's not a lot for the women. And like the men will go away for a week and come back, like recharge, relax, and like, oh, I'm on the road to recovery. And one woman compared it to like, he's got 2 oars in the water and he's going forward. I'm left at home with 1 oar going around in circles. And she doesn't find that bonding with other women and that of shared experience.
Right.
So Spa Day, even though it's only a day, is actually the best because they don't really want to leave their children and husbands for a whole week. But one day is a great way to recover themselves, to recharge and pamper themselves and find resources they need.
Right. Gosh, that's so exciting. I'm really excited. We need to talk about this more as women. We need to advertise this more, to come together, to talk, to get the help that we need if we need it, right? So back to you and your book. Tell us more about the Barbara McNally Foundation.
Well, it was founded after my first book, Unbridled, and I went on a journey of self-discovery, and part of my journey of self-discovery is I wanted to give back and help other women. So I founded a foundation simply called Barbara McNally Foundation because it's easy to find.
And it's easy to remember because as you get older.
Just Google my name.
Right.
And I did work at a home in Jamaica, and I helped over there and saw women that had no choice but either be in prison, which was kind of their home, the orphanage, or join a nunnery, or go out in the streets as prostitutes. They didn't have the choice of education in Jamaica. So when I came to Coronado, I was like, we have so many choices here, but what can I do in my own backyard?
Right.
So being a physical therapist, living in Coronado, I thought in my own backyard, we have the military. And Spa Day doesn't sound quite like helping the homeless in Jamaica.
Right.
But, anywhere in our backyard we can help. Let's help, And I happen to live on a military island, so I'm helping with military, even though I am a civilian. But I just encourage anybody to give back wherever they can give back. And for me, being on a military island, I support the military. Being a woman, I want to support other women, and they are the backbone to any man's recovery. I do have some men and some injured women. So of the injured wounded warriors, about 16% are women. So we have had some injured women come to the Spa Day also.
Wow. And you know what? I'm a civilian too. And I think there's a lot of civilians out there that want to do something for our community. They want to give back. It's just a matter of figuring out what it is that you want to do and then just do it. And that's what you've done. You just took that leap and you just did it. So I admire you for that. Great.
Well, it's been great. And when I started it, there weren't a lot of resources because right after 9/11, the VA wasn't up to par or none of these nonprofits existed.
Right.
So coming from the private sector, working with military, I noticed there wasn't a support for the women, which most private rehab centers have. So I felt like I filled a void at the time. And now through the years, I'm learning from you, there are other nonprofits coming along. So I feel like it's a value for women to come to Spa Day and learn about all these other resources that are out there in the community.
Right. So we talked about Marjorie Morrison, who started Psych Armor. She's been on the show a couple of times, and she's got 100 courses that are for free for caretakers. And that's who you're really reaching out to, is those folks who are caring for the wounded. And so these folks can jump online anytime at psycharmor.org, click on any one of the courses, and they can take these courses to learn what resources are available to them. Again, what signs are there for suicide and a whole bunch of other topics. And so there are great resources. But guess what? Psych Armor was only started less than 2 years ago. So you're right in saying that there are more of these well thought out, well-funded organizations that are out there to help people, and they're doing a great job. And yourself included.
Right.
So,
and I would love to have Psych Armor come to Spa Day and meet the women in person because I have thousands of women that apply for Spa Day, but this time I'm only able to take 30 at a time because of finances. So.
Sure. So I think those listeners out there who can, we want to have them go on your website, right, to make some donations because it's needed.
Yeah, or if there's a spa out there that wants to donate their time. For example, last week in LA, it was Spa Soleil. He actually donated all his services.
Oh,
how commendable.
gosh.
And he said it's good business sense because he got publicity for it and he helped others. So it was a great day, and we had Panera donate lunch. So actually the Spa Day in LA didn't cost me anything, and I was able to reach women. At the Hotel Del, they are now sponsoring the lunch. So I am just paying personally for all the spa treatments. And I have gotten some co-sponsors I want to give credit to. One of them is Operation Family Caregiver, and they provide counseling, and they've been co-sponsoring Spa Day for me the last 2 times.
Okay, so the women that are listening, if you attend a spa, anywhere, or if you know somebody who attends a spa, Barbara, where can they reach out to you? So when they go to their spa and they say, hey, here's Barbara McNally Foundation, this is what she's doing for spouses of wounded warriors. Is there a website? Is there a phone number? How do they connect with you?
Yes, just Google Barbara McNally and my website will come up, and I have a form on there to either donate or to apply for Spa Day.
That's so great. So 30 people. Well, we can't have people in the wings waiting. So we need you guys to go out there. Come on, listeners. Let's rally around Barbara McNally. Wait a minute. That was almost a tagline.
That's good.
Let's get you some donations. We need to get these ladies out so that they can get the rest and relaxation that they deserve and to get the resources that they so desperately need. You're listening to Brave Radio, where we focus on matching veteran talent with innovative companies that make a difference in our community and in our nation. We're here in studio with Barbara McNally, author of Wounded Warrior, Wounded Wife. Let's go back to there. So you've got a lot of stories and in your book. So, and if you see 30 women a day at each one of these spa, you've got a lot of resources. So how did you actually pick the stories?
Well, I picked the ones that were the most poignant and heartfelt, and those that these women had a turning point in their life where they found an inner resource, whether it was spiritual or emotional, or how they grew with their inner strength, and also what outer resource they found to help them. Because then these are the inspirational stories for other women going through the same challenges. And yes, I had to limit it to 20, but the book is not just an anthology of their stories. It's also interwoven with experts' advice, counselors, the Wounded Warrior Battalion, other resources that give advice, such for suicide or PTSD. So it's intertwined with lots of resources.
How long did it take you to write this book, start to finish?
Well, I've been writing these women's stories for 8 years, but when I decided to publish it was last May when I saw the man jump off the bridge, and that gave me the impetus. It's like, these stories need to be written not only to help these wounded warriors and their wives going through challenges, but to bring public awareness about the after effects of war. So actually, it's only taken me a year and a half since that point.
But you had a lot of work behind that.
Right.
So that was just the impetus. And how incredible is it that one man's tragic ending was the birth and the beginning of this book, and the birth and the beginning of getting folks to understand that you have resources and there are signs and you can help, right?
Right. I wanted to make something so horrific somewhat positive, because I did find out he was a vet, had 2 children, had a wife. He was an amputee, which I didn't notice that day on the bridge because he was so well dressed and young, and I just was shocked. You know, that's not what I pictured a suicidal victim, even though I don't know what that would be, but it wasn't him.
It's not what you picture.
No, it wasn't what I pictured. The other thing is, actually, I lost my train of thought.
That's okay. It's really traumatic, and it's something that you will never forget, right? And you took something so horrible and you turned it into something that's going to help hundreds, if not thousands, of people in the days and years to come.
Right, and that reminds me, that's what I was thinking, is a lot of people think PTSD, what's wrong with them, why can't they, what happened, is this a new term? And actually, it's not a new term. It used to be called shell shock, soldier's heart. And the good news about today is we are saving more lives. We weren't prepared for this, these last 15 years of war, because in other wars, these men did not live. So now, through the jaws of life, we are saving more lives, but the men that are coming home are very traumatized. Not only, blowing off limbs, lots of them have lost their genitals. Most of them are traumatic brain injuries as well. So we've got multiple injuries coming home that used to not survive. And our system was not prepared, nor were the wives prepared. It's good we live in denial. We don't think our spouse is going to get wounded, let alone killed. But most of the women never imagined them coming home wounded. They thought maybe killed, but not wounded. So they will be caregivers from 20 till 70 years old. So this is a totally different population of caregivers. They're starting as young as 20 as full-time caregivers.
That's really difficult. And so again, driving the point home, Barbara McNally Foundation, you have the resources, you have an avenue for these spouses of the wounded warriors to come get educated and get that respite that they need while we're communing with one another, right? And building each other up, because that's what women do.
Right. Thank you.
I love it. What else do you want to add before we break?
Well, I just love you to go to my website, Barbara McNally, and you can pre-order the book, which all proceeds from the book go to the foundation. Or if you would like to volunteer to help in any way, whether it's a yoga instructor, financial advisor, any of the nonprofits out there that want to come and contribute and tell all these women about the resources.
Yes.
Or if you want to attend, all you need to do is go online and apply, and we will randomly pick 30 women. Our next spa day is November 6th here in San Diego.
How exciting. November 6th. Okay, ladies, on your mark, get set, start. Barbara McNally Foundation. And that is BARBARA. McNally is McNally.com. All right. Thank you so much for being a part of our show.
Thank you, Eve.
And thanks for all you're doing for our warriors and the wives. Because if you've got a healthy, happy wife, you're going to have a healthier, happier husband, right?
Correct. And when there's a wounded warrior, there's a wounded wife. And anybody, we know when someone we love is wounded, we're wounded too.
That's right.
So we don't want to forget about the wives.
And what a great part you're doing in strengthening those families. So thank you again.
Thank you.
You're listening to Brave Radio in conjunction with Military Mondays, where we focus on matching veteran talent with innovative companies that make a difference in our community and in our nation. Follow us on Twitter at Brave Jobs or like us on Facebook to stay up to date with the latest news and trends. I'm your host, Eve Nasby, and we will be right back after this short break to talk to somebody you guys already know and already love, but I don't think that you know a lot about him, Daniel Lehman from Military Mondays.
Hey, boss.
Yeah.
I need to hire someone. Our workload's increased and man, I could use some help.
What are you looking for?
I need someone unlike Ben, who doesn't freak out, when the copier breaks and the phones are down and the receptionist calls in sick.
What do you need?
Leadership. I need a leader who can just get it done with little direction and ahead of time would be great. With the prima donnas floating around our department like Sally and Jason, it's a challenge, man, to get things done. I need a team player, trained in leadership, confident in their abilities, and adaptable to change.
There's only one place you're going to find talent like that.
Show me where.
Our United States veterans. Call Eve right now at 619-244-3000 or log on to thebrave.us and let's hire a veteran. It's good for business. It's good for America.
Brave is a part of America's largest service-disabled veteran-owned business, Merit Consulting. We are dedicated to placing great companies with great veterans. Call today.
Easter Seals Work First Military and Veteran Services provides free one-on-one personalized employment assistance for local veterans through their Bob Hope Veteran Support Program. Easter Seals' team of employment specialists is dedicated to achieving successful, long-term job placements that benefit both the veteran and the employer. Learn more about how you can receive services, connect with a future employee, or make a donation by visiting easterseals.com/SouthernCal. That's easterseals.com/SouthernCal.
Tired of your employees being late?
There was so much traffic.
Tired of poor excuses and poor presentations?
My kid ate my homework.
Tired of employees just not being able to handle the pressure?
You mean I gotta work a full 8 hours today?
Skip the hassles and excuses and hire individuals that are trained in leadership, confident in their abilities, adaptable to change, and focused on teamwork. Hire a veteran. More than just a patriotic gesture, hiring a veteran of the United States military comes with a host of benefits and tax credits and can provide your company with valuable leadership, organization, and accountability. Allow the Brave to help your progressive business connect with qualified veteran candidates today and find out more by visiting thebrave.us. That's THEBRAVE.US. Welcome back. You're listening to Brave Radio in partnership with Military Mondays here on KCBQ AM 1170, streaming live on the web at am1170theanswer.com. Follow us on Twitter at Brave Jobs or like us on Facebook to stay up to date with the latest news and trends. I'm your host, Eve Nasby, here with the one and only, drum roll please, cue the music, Daniel Lehman from Military Mondays.
I'm definitely not the one and only because I always look for a URL with my name, Daniel Lehman, and it's taken by like 15 people.
It is.
And I look for and I always think people are cool that have like first name dot last name at Gmail because my name, I could never.
You can't do it.
Nope, I'm too late. I'm
but
late
wait, we didn't talk about the one and only DanielLehman.com.
That'd be a long one. That'd be an extensive business card right there.
Wait, we could do an acronym. TOA. No, I'm just kidding.
It was like spelled out like dummy or something like that.
Whatever. No, we don't have dummies on this show, Mr. Lehman. Thank you very much.
I know.
So you know what? You host Military Mondays. You are an incredibly gifted individual, but I don't think a lot of people know about your story because you just don't talk about yourself. So my evil plan today is to have our listeners understand a little bit more about who Daniel Lehman really is. So let's start with your career in the military.
Yeah, I don't know. So out of high school, like no real, I don't know. What do you want to know?
Okay. So did you wake up one day and say, I think I'll join the Marines?
I don't know what that was all about. I guess so. My great grandfather was in World War I. He was in the Army. My grandfather was in World War II. He was in the Navy. My dad was in Vietnam in the Army. Wow. And so there may have been something instilled there, but it wasn't something that was. It wasn't something where like my dad passed away when I was really young, and so my grandpa was probably the biggest influence. And he was in the military, and I always respected that about him. Mm-hmm. But more than that, it was probably like I was one of those guys that just didn't have. I wasn't a fantastic student. I wasn't like I didn't have a whole heck of a lot of direction, So it was kind of like it was kind of like one of my only options,
really?
So it ended up being what and there's like a desire to serve the country and that kind of thing, but it was more it kind of became who I was in high school. I knew I wanted to go after high school.
You did? Yeah. And so you joined the Marines, and then what happened?
So
was it what you expected? For those who are thinking about joining the military out there, was it what you expected when you got in?
Yes, and I like close my. If I think about what I expected, I would think back to like I don't know, like having like camis on and like kicking my feet up with like dog tags on and just being cool. There's not a lot of that.
Yeah,
right?
right.
I mean, it's like, I think for me, boot camp was like the coolest part of it. You know, I don't know, there was a reason for everything. It was like, it was structured. It was like the history was there. You could march on the parade deck and it would kind of give you chills that people like back to the, whatever it is, the 20s or whatever, you know, people that fought in all the major world wars and all the sacrifices and everything else that were made, like through people that walked in the same steps and stuff. Right. I thought that was really cool about it. That's still one thing about the military that I like more than anything else is really just or my experience in the military was like the ceremony of it, you know, the history, you know, that kind of thing.
There is. And it's emotional too. If anybody's ever been to a graduation or anything, it's just very, you grab a box of tissues. It's just very emotional. So you went into the Marines, you went through boot camp, you said, this is awesome. And then what job did you take within the military?
Well, it just becomes a 9-to-5, right? I probably should, in retrospect, I would have gone, I think my recruiter just said, hey, here's what's available, go for it. And I was just like, okay, I'm out of there. Oh, signing bonus? All right, I'll take it. You know, so I ended up in avionics. And so it ended up kind of being just like a little bit of a 9-to-5, you know? And so it was a little bit 9-to-5-ish. Did after September 11th, went on deployment, kind of in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. And then after that, Operation Iraqi Freedom, we're involved in like kind of the build up and initial push. And luckily I got out in 2004. So it was before there was massive recalls, massive casualties and massive, you know, redeployments and long stints. And, you know, so I got out kind of at a lucky time, to be honest with you. It would have been difficult because I had a really young son at the time, and my wife was recently here from Argentina. She just arrived from Argentina, so it would have been a difficult run. So kind of lined up okay.
And I think that's important because I'm kind of setting you up for what you're doing today. Because here you are, you're coming out of high school, you go right into the Marines. It was 4 years?
5 years.
5 years in the Marines. Did you have any business school or any education around that?
Nothing. And you know, like again, I think we were talking about this earlier in our show. It was a situation where, for me, if I go to school, it's not for the piece of paper; it's for the education, it's for the information, it's for the tools. And for me at that point, I don't know. It was just. And for me, like I said, I had a small family and stuff like that. On one end, there was this need to like break out of the employment kind of thing where I didn't want to work for somebody else and trade money for time. Right. And I wanted to add value and be able to make more. But at the same time, I really had to cover my family's need, you know, so it would have been really easy to go work for aerospace or something and go get a job somewhere, get a government job or something like that. That's like kind of the typical transition out. It's just not the path that I wanted to go. So I told my wife, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm not going to get a job. And we didn't have...
I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm not going to get a job.
Like not a typical job. You know, it was
no wife ever wants to hear that.
Well, yeah, especially with a young son. And it was a situation where her and my mother-in-law too, was like, what are you talking about? Right. Now they know it kind of works out. I mean, I'm good when I get thrown into the fire. You know what I mean? That's
who you are.
That's how it works out best for me. If it's cozy and comfy and stuff, I'll set a goal, and then when I hit it, I'll set another goal. I don't know that it's kind of annoying. I don't know if it'll ever be done.
You're listening to Brave Radio here on KCBQ AM 1170 in conjunction with Military Mondays, streaming live on the web at am1170theanswer.com. Follow us on Twitter at BraveJobs or like us on Facebook to stay up to date with the latest news and trends. I'm your host, Eve Nasby, here with Daniel Lehman from Military Mondays and Synergy One. So 5 years in the Marines, you get out, you've got a young son, you're married, you say, I'm not going to get a job. So after the mother-in-law put you in your place, then what happens?
I told my mother-in-law, you know, whatever, it's gonna go how it's gonna go. And no, I feel like whatever I would have gone into and put my mind to and stuff like that, I'm very tactical in the sense that I think people miss the boat because I feel like they don't look at the end objective and work backwards. They kind of like flutter around until they fall on something. And whatever the business would have been, I would have found a way to make it successful. I'm not to the point where I feel fully successful. I don't know if I ever will feel that way, you know. It's a situation where there's always another thing you could be doing, and it's And it's been a process. It's just been a process. I fell into kind of the mortgage banking industry, which is kind of random. And I kind of floundered in that a little bit for a while, just because it doesn't matter. I mean, I've heard this a bunch. It doesn't matter how much money you make. It ends up being kind of, to some people, I guess it does. To me, it doesn't matter how much money you make unless you're doing something bigger and better than just supporting yourself.
Right.
You know, so there's been this like market shift into serving the veteran community because I got out of the Marine Corps, $50 to my name. And now it's a situation where I got some good mentorship, some good advice, and came across some good information.
You got a lot of guts. You got $50 to your name. You've got a small family and you're like, I'm going to start my own business. Did any of that gumption come from your experience in the military?
I think it's more probably personality based. You know what I mean? I think I'm just the type that doesn't do well in controlled environments, maybe. You know what I mean? Yep. It's like, and which is weird coming out of the Marine Corps. I can be really good in controlled environments when I'm just being told what to do.
Right.
But don't put me, I don't know.
And I think, though, there's a misconception out there, too, about military people just being able to take orders. And you kind of blow the doors off of all of that. Successful 5-year military career. And now you're doing your own thing. And you don't have anybody telling you what to do. You sought out mentors to start your business with the $50 that you had.
Well, what I see, like the Marine Corps, especially like if you think about the boot camp process, it's everything's thought out. Everything's chock full of reasoning. You tie your shoes a certain way because something exists in a certain way. They treat you a certain way in the beginning, and they shift the focus of how they treat you throughout until the end. And so there's this almost product that comes out. Like the finished Marine is a finished product from this kind of like ore that they get,
right.
you know, this raw ore to this like polished product. And so it's taught me a lot of lessons in terms of my business life of how do you manufacture in my business, like how you manufacture an amazing customer service process around people that are buying. How do you take them from lead to like keys in hand in a way that makes them feel a certain way, makes them feel great, treats them well, educates them in a way. And so and then how do you take that and box it and delegate so you can just send as many people to that as possible?
So you said lead to keys in hand. So tell us exactly what that means. Who are you and what do you do?
So in essence, the majority of the business that we do is referred in by realtors or something like that. And so when people show a desire to like want to buy a home at some point in time and they don't have, $500,000 in a case at their house, or even if they do, and they desire to take a loan out to leverage the ability to get a loan, especially with the VA loan, which is the best loan in the history of loans. To purchase that home, they have to go through a process, and the typical bank process related to that is really all about application. And when you go to the bank, it's you do an application. What we do is very much education, and then the application with the foundation of that education, so people have much more peace of mind. And so we build that in because we've found that makes the process a lot better for people. The other thing is, you walk into a bank, it's very much a situation where you're almost representing yourself in front of the judge. It's like if you say the wrong thing, if you say it's not as transactional as you'd think. There's a real opportunity for me as the quote unquote kind of attorney in the thing to build the thing in the right way so that I can just take raw goals and raw what you want to do and how that fits in your financial picture and turn that into put that through a process that culminates in the best possible outcome.
That's so great. You're listening to Brave Radio, where we're focused on matching veteran talent with innovative companies that make a difference in our community and in our nation. Follow us on Twitter at Brave Jobs or like us on Facebook to stay up to date with the latest news and trends. I'm your host, Eve Nasby, and we will be right back after this short break to talk to Daniel Lehman about all that he's doing on Military Mondays and making a difference in the community here in San Diego. Don't go away. Tired of your employees being late?
There was so much traffic.
Tired of poor excuses and poor presentations?
My kid ate my homework.
Tired of employees just not being able to handle the pressure?
You mean I gotta work a full 8 hours today?
Skip the hassles and excuses and hire individuals that are trained in leadership, confident in their abilities, adaptable to change, and focused on teamwork. Hire a veteran. More than just a patriotic gesture, hiring a veteran of the United States military comes with a host of benefits and tax credits and can provide your company with valuable leadership, organization, and accountability. Allow the Brave to help your progressive business connect with qualified veteran candidates today and find out more by visiting thebrave.us. That's THEBRAVE.us.
Easter Seals Work First Military and Veteran Services provides free one-on-one personalized employment assistance for local veterans through their Bob Hope Veteran Support Program. Easter Seals' team of employment specialists is dedicated to achieving successful, long-term job placements that benefit both the veteran and the employer. Learn more about how you can receive services, connect with a future employee, or make a donation by visiting easterseals.com/SouthernCal. That's easterseals.com/SouthernCal.
Hey, boss.
Yeah.
I need to hire someone. Our workload's increased and man, I could use some help.
What are you looking for?
I need someone unlike Ben, who doesn't freak out, when the copier breaks and the phones are down and the receptionist calls in sick.
What do you need?
Leadership. I need a leader who can just get it done with little direction and ahead of time would be great. With the prima donnas floating around our department like Sally and Jason, it's a challenge, man, to get things done. I need a team player, trained in leadership, confident in their abilities, and adaptable to change.
There's only one place you're going to find talent like that.
Show me where.
Our United States veterans. Call Eve right now at 619-244-3000 or log on to thebrave.us and let's hire a veteran. It's good for business. It's good for America.
Brave is a part of America's largest service-disabled veteran-owned business, Amerit Consulting. We are dedicated to placing great companies with great veterans. Call today. Welcome back. You're listening to Brave Radio here in conjunction with Military Mondays on KCBQ AM 1170, streaming live on the web at am1170theanswer.com. We're here in studio with the one and only Daniel Lehman from Military Mondays. Welcome back. Hey. Well, I had some questions for you over the break. So talk about the VA loan, because there's some people out there that don't know that they qualify. Maybe they've used it before and they don't know they can use it again. Talk about some of the educational pieces around the VA loan.
There's a lot to the VA loan that makes it the best loan in the history of loans. But I would say the thing that people should understand is most importantly, kind of on the surface level, that if you're a veteran, you're served, you have this opportunity, this asset available to you. And whether you're buying now or 2 years from now, the important element is that you plan. Mm-hmm. So it's getting in early and getting an education on all of it. There's so much to it that it's a lot to cover. Right. Really, you can basically buy a house for lower interest rates than anything else. You don't have any mortgage insurance. You don't have any down payment required, and it's all based on your eligibility, based on your service. But regardless of that, there's still a lot of structure around it, and there's still a lot of planning. So even if you don't think you're ready now, what you should do is get educated and put a plan in place so that when that time comes, you know what to do in the meantime to get to the point.
And where do we go to get that education?
So, you can reach out to me at dlehman@s1lending.com or San Diego VA Experts.com is I think what the other thing is, and that's what we do.
So the VA loan, there's a lot of pieces and moving parts that somebody would need to reach out to you to help them put all that together, which you're happy to do, and help walk them through that process. Even if they're not ready today, you can help them start that planning.
The way that the bank process kind of has trained people to do things is to try to figure it all out online on your own first, and then guess at how you kind of go about it.
Right.
What you should really be able to do is really trust the fact that somebody that you're working with is out for your best interest, which unfortunately isn't always the case. But you should be able to say, hey, this is what I've got. These are my goals. This is what I feel comfortable with. Here's what I have. And you've got a goal on one end of the spectrum. You've got this job to do. You've got the property that you want to buy, and on this end you have tools. And so you just have to take the correct tools and apply them to the job, and that's the real art. The loan itself is really a commodity. You can learn about the loan wherever. The application of that commodity in a way that works best for you is best. And so that's kind of what we focus on.
And you are well loved, well respected in this community. People trust you. You've got lots of people calling. You got lots of referrals out there. And you also have Military Mondays. And what a great radio show you have. So talk about Military Mondays, the guests you have in the focus.
Military Mondays is part of like a media, it's part of like where all of our business comes from at the business side is really, it's a business for purpose kind of setup in the sense that we don't want to just be known as lenders in the community. We want to be leaders in the community, and because of that leadership and that education we're doing in the community, the byproduct is the business that we get. So we want skin in the game on both, and we want to make a bigger difference. So we do a lot of education. We do a lot of stuff like that. And Military Mondays really was kind of along that same lines. It was a situation where there were all sorts of great people like this program. I mean, it's basically, you've got all sorts of great people in the community, and we wanted to kind of build this information brokerage where people could come on and they could showcase kind of so it's really not even about loans. It's not even about real estate. It's just about the community. And
you've had some great people on your show.
Yeah.
Talk about who you just had on.
Oh, so the last hour
Rosie
we had Leona
Network.
Sublet with the Rosie Network. We had Mary Maloney, who's a phenomenal veteran entrepreneur out of North County with Hometown Realty. And my co-host, as always, is Moses Maddox, who mentors
He's
students.
a stud. He's in studio with us right now. We didn't give him a microphone for a purpose, though.
Yeah. Yeah, he's way too interesting for me. He would just interesting this thing out. We can't have that.
That's right. And you know what? I think there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there. I think there's a lot of organizations that help entrepreneurs like the Rosie Network. And like yourself, Daniel, I mean, you are a veteran. You are an entrepreneur. And I think there's people out there who are thinking, I don't want to work with a company. I don't want to work for a company, just like you did. And you give hope to those who are right now driving and thinking, yeah, I don't want to work for the man anymore. I want to start my own business.
Yeah, I think so. There are things that are more important to me than earning income. There are things more important to me than like being financially successful. I mean, that goes down to being successful as a husband. I think that people look at financial success as success, and really success, you can be financially successful and a complete failure in other ends of your life.
Right.
And successful husband, successful father, I mean, those are all deposits. Those are all the accounts that I want to make deposits in. And really, my career has kind of transitioned from being a good loan officer, where I'm kind of an individual, to a good team. And now it's much more of like kind of a company or division element of it, where we really want to pay it forward. And in essence, not stop being mentored, continue to always look for mentorship myself personally, but also start the process of looking backwards and trying to mentor others and those who would want to come and benefit from kind of the mistakes that I've made and come in. And there's a real opportunity. And Jim Rohn's one of my favorite, people, but in essence, he always said, he said that you help, you get what you want by helping others get what they want, kind of thing.
Right.
And so that's definitely been the trajectory. So
what's the future of you and your organization? You're hiring, you're growing, you're expanding. Talk about that.
Well, again, what I'd like to do is I want to change the conversation. Most people deal with loan officers or in the veteran community. It's very much about advocacy. It's very much altruistic. If you serve your country, you deserve to own a piece of it. And
I like that. If you serve your country, you deserve to own a piece of it.
So that's our focus.
That's awesome.
Our focus, there's financial. And if I truly believe that home ownership is like the crown jewel of a solid financial picture, and it houses families and military members have served their country, and they should own a piece of it, that's what we're looking to expand. So bringing it all together, what we're starting to do is hire what we would consider veteran home ownership advocates. So if I have that phenomenal lead to close kind of like structure in place where people are being taken care of, it's something to be proud of.
Right.
I want to go and empower others to go out and spread the word and advocate on behalf of military homeowners and get out into the community and say, hey, you guys should be educated on your options. This is what we're doing.
I love it. And so you've got how many positions open right now?
I think what we're trying to do right now, just as a beta test, is do kind of a 5 to 6 positions where we're covering South Bay, San Diego, East County, North County Inland, North County Coastal, and Riverside kind of thing. So I think that's probably the short-term vision of what's that's going to be, and we're just going to like see how it goes. It's very much it's not really how things are done.
it is completely unconventional, and I think that's why it's going to work. So you've got one perhaps person identified already. Tell us about the ideal candidate for you, because there's folks that are listening right now that might be unemployed, looking for work, or might know somebody who's looking for work. So talk about what you're looking for ideally.
For me, again, it's different because you look at the typical kind of job. I'm very I don't know, if everybody's doing something, I'm kind of running the other direction, And so for me, what's most important, the most important thing that anybody can have is passion. If somebody's really, truly passionate about this topic or this subject, or it's uniquely personal and they've got a story around it, or something where they can get a personal involvement, the kind of thing where you ever have conversations with people and you explain something, your eyes kind of tear up a little bit because it's so like intensely personal to you that you just, those are the kind of things that get you through tough times. So those are the kinds of things that add value to make you feel like you're doing the right thing in the community. And those are the kind of people that I want, are people that can really get really involved in, not necessarily, that are interested in making a good living, but for the right reasons. Right.
So passion, good communication skills. Do they have to be a military spouse or in the military? I
would prefer to. I think military spouses and former military veterans and stuff, I think it just, again, to have that story, especially if somebody had a unique kind of life, like myself. One of the things that I always lean on is my story, right? Is how I was here and now I'm here because of this. Yes. And so I think if people are able to just tell their story about stuff, it becomes much more powerful. So, that's not required. I want to help as many people as I can, but that's kind of that's the concept, at least. I love it. It's great. How do they get a hold of you if they want more information or if they want to apply for the position? So again, my email address is Lehman, DLEHMAN @s1lending.com. And then I think it's local. No, it's San Diego VA Experts.com, which again, I think is where you go. Can hunt you down, or go on to Military Mondays. Just Google Military Mondays. Military-Mondays.com. I'm findable. That's for sure. You can find me. All right, let's Google Daniel Lehman right now. What do we find? Don't do that. Wait, is that really you? So what's coming up next on Military Mondays and the life and times of Daniel Lehman? I don't know. We just kind of figure stuff out as it goes along. We shifted our focus. Like, we're so happy to have you in here doing Brave Radio. It's our pleasure. It's awesome. I love it. The focus of our show has really become around kind of like almost like a TED Talks for the military and veteran community, which is phenomenal. We used to take kind of a person in each segment and stuff, and we kind of didn't really get deep with stuff. And now it's been a matter of getting one guest around a subject and really digging in and having a great time. So, gosh, who knows? You'll have to tune in and find out. All-time, we're kind of running short on time, but just tell our listeners, who's your all-time favorite guest? Oh, I'm going to make somebody mad. Moses is pointing at himself. It's me, dude. I was your favorite guest. I think some of the greatest guests that we've had, I loved having General Rocco on. He was fantastic. I love, probably favorite all-time, one of the massive ones is Captain Spanner, Jonathan Spanner, who was the captain of the port for the Coast Guard. Yeah. God, man, some of them. He is the most interesting man in the world. He thwarted a pirate attack. He flew the first mission over Katrina in a C-130. Wow. He was commander of the port. He was a White House fellow. He's just one of those guys that you're just like, man, and you're just in awe of what he's saying, and he's so humble, and he's taking selfies and stuff. He's just a trip. I just love that guy. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, Daniel, thank you for all you're doing for our veterans. Thank you for all that you're doing for the community. And thank you for all that you're doing here at Military Mondays to spread the word, to help our listeners understand just how amazing our folks in the military are and what we can do to come underneath of them and around them and support them. And I think we do a good job in San Diego, huh? We do a pretty good job. I think there's a lot of room for improvement in a lot of different areas, but I'm telling you, we do it better than most. This is true. Again, thank you so much for being a part of our show. Thank you. I'm Eve Nasby, and you've been listening to Brave Radio in conjunction with Military Mondays right here on KCBQ AM 1170, The Answer. If you want to find out more about how you can hire top veteran talent, or if you're interested in being a guest on our show, visit our webpage at www.thebrave.us. That's www.thebrave.us. Send us a tweet at Brave Jobs, or like our Facebook page. From all of our guests and me, thanks for joining us. And until next Monday, may God bless our veterans and God bless America.
Thanks for listening to Brave Radio. If you know a veteran looking for work, or if your company is hiring, call Eve at Brave at 619-244-3000. Give her a tweet at Brave Jobs and connect with them on Facebook. To be a guest on the show, visit thebrave.us.